Meal one is on deck. In here we've got half a scoop of protein, and then we've got 2 whole eggs with some pink Himalayan salt kind of grounded up on there, and then 100 grams of strawberries. So this is also the pre-workout meal since I train in the mornings. It's a little after 6 right now, so I'll get this in, chill out for a little bit, let it digest, and then we'll walk the dog, and when we come back, we'll train. This will be well in my system by then. You guys can still see not an overly heavy meal in the morning. Appetite is still well under control when I get up, and I don't feel like shoveling a bunch of food in my mouth. So this does the trick, and I have quite a bit of carbs at the end of the day. So the carbs that I had last night still in my system for the workout today. And like I've mentioned before, when I see some performance drop off, I will reevaluate kind of nutrient timing. But for now, we're gonna run with it because it feels good and everything's going well in the gym. So I'm gonna get this in me and I'll pick up you guys later. So we're still doing the intra-workout drink. So we've got a scoop of Cluster Bomb, which is 25 grams of carbs. Then we do 1 scoop of creatine, which is 5 grams. This is just pure monohydrate. And then we do EAs as well. This is the TC Nutrition Hydra Amino. It's been kind of my go-to probably the last 4 or 5 months. So it's got 8 grams of EAAs, it's got some added glutamine, and it's also got electrolytes in it, which is something I really like. So it's not just an EAA formula, it's got some added benefits as well. This is the blue slushy flavor, and then I have grape Cluster Bomb. Those two together is pretty bang on. And then for pre-workout today, since it's back and shoulders, this is kind of a half and half. So we've got half a scoop of Impact Pump and then half a scoop of PPK Pump. But PPK Pump also has caffeine in it, but it's only 250, so this is probably only about 200 milligrams of caffeine, so not overly strong, but the combo of the rock candy PPK and the blue raspberry Impact is really, really good. So that is the supplement dealio for right now. I try to get in at least 2 liters of water during my workout. This is basically a 2 liter, it's a big jug of orange juice, but this is basically 2 liters. So I try to get that in, plus this, so we're well hydrated. But yeah, so we're gonna go walk the dog and then we'll get the session underway. All right, we are in for back and delts. I'm not gonna do any commentary or anything like that. I'm just gonna get some quick clips from every movement I do, starting with T-bar rows, and then we'll catch up after the workout. All right, so it's the next day, and what I want to talk about in this kind of section of the video, got my computer here, is I turned my first natural athlete pro this past week. So right now in Canada, bodybuilding shows are not happening. Unfortunately, everything's been moved. It looks like potentially in July we will see shows, and then from August moving forward. We have like a 3-phase reopening procedure right now, but we're not going to talk about that. But we were able to host, well, not host, but participate in some online bodybuilding shows. So basically how that worked is athletes took photos, they took videos of their poses, and then they submitted them, and then, you know, judges would look at them, compare them, and then, you know, pick the winners from there. So very similar to how a normal bodybuilding show is structured. The only, I guess, missing piece was, you know, seeing athletes in a lineup together and comparing them that way. But can you hear him? What are you meowing? What are you doing? Well, stop. I'm trying to record a video. So I had some athletes participate in this event. One of them being Casey, and another one being a figure client of mine that you know, she wants to remain private, so that's okay. But Casey, I want to talk about her prep. I posted an Instagram post with regards to how we, you know, basically prepped her, but I figured we could talk about it here in this video, and I could give maybe a little bit more detail than I could in the Instagram post. So I have her whole program pulled up here, and we're gonna start right from the very beginning. So we're actually gonna go back a little bit of a ways, because she wanted to compete in April 2019, April 2020. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. That was the very beginning of this whole, you know, situation the Earth is in right now. And I think that was like 4 weeks out that event got canceled. And, you know, that one stung. There was her and a couple other competitors that I was coaching that, you know, were all first timers that, unfortunately, the rug got pulled out from under them at the 4 week out mark, which for anybody that's, you know, prepped before that one, you know, that's real close to show day. Like, that's crunch time, and for that to happen, it was really unfortunate. So she ended up taking the rest of the year off. I did not coach her over that time period. You know, made sure she'd come out of prep okay, and then she kind of just did her own thing. And, you know, kudos to her, because she actively, you know, continued to train and stuff, and improved her physique. She definitely put on some muscle. She improved things, and then, you know, set us up for a good place to start prep for 2021. I don't know if you guys have had this stuff. It's flavored water. This one here is grape, and it's unreal. So that's kind of my treat for this morning. So we started prep, I'm looking here at 24 weeks out. And I know for many that may sound like a long time, but for myself, I really like to prep people longer. I think it, you know, provides much more benefits than negatives. You know, really minimal negatives, honestly. You know, you're able to, buddy, he's clawing his tree. Hey, I'm trying to record, dude. So, 24 weeks out, it was October 24th, and we were gonna plan to do that same show that she unfortunately couldn't do in 2020 at 4 weeks out. She got canceled, so here we are, a year later, we're going to do it again. And at this time, things are good. There's no real issues. So we started prep in a bit of a deficit from, you know, where I predicted she would land, and just 2 20-minute cardio sessions a week, so very, very moderate. And we ran with that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Basically 19 weeks, which now that I'm looking at this, I feel like I might have made an error in my post on Instagram, but we won't worry about that. So we found that deficit, and Casey's body was extremely responsive to that, which is ideal, right? If you can run with like a set deficit for as long as you can, then that's perfect. So if we look, so she basically started around 130 pounds at the start of prep. Very reasonable, a very healthy body weight for her. For a girl her size, she's in a good spot, right? She's healthy, she's strong, she has, a good relationship with food, all things to start prep off, check. And we went all the way down to 117 before we made a calorie adjustment. And that was not till 10 weeks out. That's insane. So basically 14 weeks, it was just like week after week after week after week after week. Consistent drops. For the most part, we did weekly refeeds. So for her, just because we had the data from her first prep, I was able to do kind of just a simple burger and fries refeed every Saturday. That's basically what we did. There's only a select few times where we opted for just maybe a cleaner refeed, which is like a steak and maybe like a potato and veg meal, just to kind of switch it up a little bit. But typically she would just drop out one of her meals, have the burger refeed, it would recharge her, she'd feel good, and it'd set her up for a successful week ahead. And again, we would see another drop, then we'd refeed, another week, drop, refeed, and so on. So fast forward, ended up getting to 13 weeks out, which was middle of January, and the show got postponed because that's when kind of everything here in Ontario started to go for shits again. So then it was like, all right, it's now moved to September. So, for Casey, it's a conversation of, all right, what do you want to do? Do you want to just kind of put the brakes on a little bit? Do you want to, stop entirely? Like, what do you want to do here? And for her, one of the things I will give Casey all the credit in the world about is her ability to be flexible and, it's not like lack of commitment, but her willingness to like kind of adapt to the situation. So, for her, she really just wanted to compete just to kind of say she did it. She wanted to challenge herself. She wanted to step on stage. She wanted to compete. And then, kind of check that off her list and potentially move on with her life. At the time, she wasn't looking to potentially do this long term and, try to work her way up the ranks and just, be a competitor. It was more so, I want to give this a shot. Right? It's like people who do like the Tough Mudders and stuff like that. It's like, you know what? I want to challenge myself. I want to do this and just see what happens. And I think part of that made this process a lot easier for her because she really didn't pressure herself, I don't think, a whole lot. She was very adapt to the situation, week by week by week. How do you feel? I feel good. All right. How do you feel? Feel good. And, we got to a point where, like I said, she'd lost 13, 14 pounds very just steadily over the weeks. Then we got the news of the show postponement. So that's when the online event come up. So the IDFA is a natural organization here. I think they're mainly in Canada, but maybe they are elsewhere. I know they have a bigger presence here. And it was online, May 13th. And it's like, okay, you're May 15th, sorry. Do you want to do this? And she's like, yeah. I said to her, I think that's the only guarantee right now. There's a couple shows that, in May or June that were still potentially on the table, but, in hindsight, they ended up not happening. So I'm glad we didn't aim for those. But, we agreed to that. So, all right, let's keep going. So then we were 13 weeks out from that event, and she was 119 pounds. So down... a little over 10 pounds from her starting weight at 13 weeks out. I predicted for her maybe around like the 115 mark, 113 to 115 mark. For a first-time competitor, it's always that fine line of like pushing them, but maybe not pushing them to the all extremes, because that could potentially bring some negative effects after the show. Right? So that's something I've talked to my coach about in depth, just bouncing ideas off of him. And that's one thing he said, that, it's always judging by the person, how far you are able to push them from, a physical standpoint, You know, sometimes if a client just doesn't have enough muscle yet, you're not going to get that conditioning that maybe you would hope to get. But that's just something that will come with time as they continue and mature as an athlete. So anyways, so we made a calorie drop at 10 weeks out from that event. Her weight had stalled for 1, 2, 3 weeks, kind of just down like, you know, 0.2, 0.3. And again, at this point we're 117. So we're really within shooting distance of where I think she's probably going to land for the show. So we dropped calories down a little bit. We did a little bit of a cardio increase at that time. And then, you know, things started to move again, but we're still doing the weekly refeeds up until this point, and then those kind of tapered down a little bit. You know, 9 weeks out, 117.2, 116.8, 116.8, 116. So now, you know, things are starting to move again. So now 4 weeks out, we're 115.8. And she's looking really good here. I'm pretty happy with the shape, the condition she has at this point. So now it's, you know, we don't really need to push much more. You know, if we can get another pound or 2 off. I remember telling her, like, her upper body I was quite pleased with. It was just maybe a little bit more off her lower body. So we pushed a little bit more, got her into the 114s. Her lowest was 114 that she measured, but she's confident she dipped probably into the 113s over the course of like peak week and stuff. So basically where I expected her to land was where she landed. And she brought an amazing physique. I was really happy with how she looked. Peak week, we didn't do anything revolutionary. We did a couple 1,400 calorie days, so a little bit of a drop. And then we depleted on a couple 1,200 calorie days. And then the Friday brought her up to 1,700, so increased carbs as we went into the show, just to fill her out a little bit, but not too much. I didn't want to, like, obviously this is our first time like peaking, so I'm more conservative with someone that I haven't peaked before, just because you obviously don't want them to, you know, spill over and stuff like that. So kept it pretty moderate. And then she, you know, we did the show, so she took her photos, did her video, we submitted them, waited. It was a long wait for the results to come in, but she ended up winning both the novice and the open classes, which then got her to nationals for winning the open class, where she ended up winning again and winning her IDFA Pro card. So now she is officially an IDFA Pro bikini competitor. My first pro client, which is the running joke right now, is the first pro on Team Rollins wasn't me. So that's funny, but I'm extremely happy. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud in 2021. Just with everything that's going on, it was a pleasant surprise. So long term, so now I think the plan for her, she really enjoyed herself. Obviously the results have got her happy and excited. So I think long term the plan will be to compete again at some point next year. But for now, we're gonna chill, recover. We did a controlled reverse for a couple weeks. You know, she come out of it very good. You know, she didn't mention overly any issues with food or anything like that. Body image seems to be in check. So all positive things to come out of a prep, which is something that, you know, is very important. So yeah, so that's kind of a breakdown. So I know I mean, I'm looking at the time here, we're over 14 minutes now. So I'm just going to close this out with saying how proud I am of Casey, the work she's done, the commitment she had, and considering all the obstacles were thrown her way, you know, she kept trucking forward, and, you know, we kept an open line of communication between, you know, where things were at, what she wanted to do, and how everything was looking on my side of the things as a coach, and you know, the results speak for themselves. So I'm excited for what's to come for her. There's actually another online event with the IDFA this coming weekend, which I have 3 clients in, so I'm excited about that. Bikini, men's physique, and bodybuilding. So a little bit of a broader you know, spectrum here. So I'm excited to see what happens with that, and you know, what potentially is to come for the rest of the year. So I'm gonna close the video out because I'll talk about this forever. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.